tomorrow night may return. Well, of course, the injury report is out today for the Boston Celtics, and Jayson Tatum has been moved to questionable after a long journey, a rehab, the quiet rehab that it was. Jayson Tatum back potentially tomorrow night at the Garden against the Dallas Mavericks. And, it's funny how it is against Cooper Flag, Duke University, two Dukers playing tomorrow night. It sounds like that's the what's on tap for the Green there, and I wanted to get into that. Wanted to get into the Patriot stuff from today. DJ Moore going to Buffalo. Buffalo had first crack and made the move. They go with DJ Moore. We'll touch on that. The Bruins and the NHL trade deadline is tomorrow. I got a name I like that I wanted to bring up throughout the show today as we do take you up until the Bees and Nashville tonight right here on the Sports Hub. So we got 90 minutes of the Joe Show. And feel free to call in at 617-779-0985. You can join us on YouTube as well. Just search youtube.com and then 98.5 The Sports Hub. And boom, you'll see us right there. But there is a lot going on. Though I know the World Baseball Classic is underway. I think USA is on tomorrow night. But, we've seen the documentary now. We've seen the 4 parts. However you want to look at it, I'm actually fine with both sides. I was on before today. I was working with some people who their opinion on it was that it's stupid now, or it's been maybe Tatum. What's the word when you get a little bit of fatigue, like Tatum fatigue? Maybe that's out there. I agree with it. I do think that Tatum's a little bit boring. I do think that. This is something that's a little uncharacteristic for him. But I also think he's one of the top 5 players, top 10 players in the league. I also think he has a chance to be the face of the league. Or at least the American face in the league. Steph Curry right now, I would say is. I think they want to make Anthony Edwards the face of the NBA. But I think this is why Jayson Tatum's doing what he's doing. He has the chance to not only be on one of the best teams year in and year out, and not be, also be an MVP candidate year in and year out. Part of the next Olympic team that will happen. Like, he has a chance to be the face of the NBA. And I get there's some people that have the fatigue. It's real. It is real. I think they don't want to hear about his rehab anymore. I think, some people thought it was a show, and, people bring up LeBron and his decision and things of that degree. I think he is humble. I think all he does is play basketball and love his kid. I do think there are times where he spends more time in St. Louis than he does in Boston. Like, all those things are true. But when it comes to the basketball court, Jayson Tatum can do everything. And when it comes to the chemistry and the playing style and all that, Jayson Tatum's such a good player that whatever style they're doing right now, he should be able to fit right in. And I think that today there were a lot of comments regarding the return of Jayson Tatum, and it was from national media. A lot of national people kind of came out to say this is important for the Celtics, their fans, and Tatum himself to set the right expectation on his comeback. People are starting to give the reservation that he's not going to start out at the same level like he was before he got hurt. If the expectation is that he comes back and is a spicy addition to Boston's season, that's great. But if he comes back with the expectation that the team will slip even halfway back onto his shoulders, it's a lot harder to see that going well. That was from Rachel Nichols earlier today. I know there's a lot of just reaction to it, but the opening take for me is, which is presented by Super Service Today. When your heat or hot water goes out, waiting isn't an option. Super Service Today's warehouse in Danvers is stocked with water heaters, furnaces, boilers, heat pumps, and same-day replacement day or night, and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. The Celtics are now the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. They're plus 230 at DraftKings Sportsbook. Anytime you're a team where you can get a top 5 player in the league and a difference maker, you're now in the conversation for a championship. I don't think this is a championship roster, but I do think that a team with Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown on it, with what they've done this year, absolutely is in the conversation to win the conference, which would, again, put them in the championship conversation. And I do think he starts low. I think he will be the 4. I think he will play big minutes, meaning big man minutes. I think he will rebound and focus on passing and defer. And that the playing style that they've changed, he'll adapt to it. But I think that also is a big question on what Joe Mazzulla will do. I'd like to see them play this style and continue to play this style. Because the previous style, although it won him a championship, they never adjusted a year ago. I mean, it's hard not to think about that New York Knicks series or the last appearance that we saw from Jayson Tatum. He was having a career game. 42 points before he got hurt. It was a monster game. But at the same time, they were losing. They were probably going to lose that game. They were on their way of losing that series. I know they came back the next game and showed what they could do without Jayson Tatum. But ultimately, Jaylen Brown tapped out. He fouled out of the game. They blew up the team. They thought about getting under the luxury tax. Like, all those things happened because their best player was in a walking boot. That was the quote from Brad Stevens. That was the quote. With Jayson Tatum coming back, I have high expectations. And maybe that's my own fault for thinking that they can be a championship team when he does come back. They've been great all season. Great. No one's expected this. But I just don't want to say this is stupid. Maybe it was. Having the best player come back, one of the best players in the league coming back for your team, that's good. And I know there's a lot going on. I just mentioned there's the World Baseball Classic. We got free agency in the NFL. Like, the Bruins are playing tonight. The trade deadline's tomorrow. This is the story. The best player in the town, my opinion, best player in the city of Boston's back tomorrow night, which means the Celtics are back. Back in championship mode. This is what you wanted. And for the other people who hate this, well, now it is time for Jayson Tatum to go out there and win. It is time for him. All right, shut up and play basketball. Have you heard that one before? Now it's time. And it's going to happen tomorrow night at the Garden. And I've seen the odds. Again, conference winners right now. Celtics over Cleveland, over Detroit, over New York. This is a big deal. Maybe there didn't need to be a documentary, but I think in the long run, this is a pretty great journey. Someone getting hurt like this, coming back at the speed that they did, that made it a priority. The team actually playing well in his absence. Now you add him to the mix. Isn't it about winning? Isn't that what this is about? I know that's not what Jayson Tatum's documentary made it about, or his offseason, or anything like that. That all changes tomorrow at the Garden when Jayson Tatum makes his return against the Dallas Mavericks as they once again go on a playoff run, something they've been doing year after year after year. It's the same old Celtics. But now Jayson Tatum's coming back. Your thoughts, 617-779-0985. There is an expectation Jayson Tatum will make his debut for the Celtics on Friday night versus Dallas. Your thoughts on it? 617-779-0985. Again, you can join us on YouTube as well. Your thoughts on him coming back? In? Out? Is it stupid? Are you happy? We'll have more coming up next. We'll get Skaz's thoughts as well. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray. On the way.
smelly.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Tatum, dogged by Holiday across half court. Switches to the left hand. He's going to attack the paint. Tried to go in for the dunk. It's going to fall in. Scored in the foul. And Jayson Tatum's dream of a fourth quarter continues. And Celtic fans around the world saying, don't wake me up.
Sam, I am. I will eat that damn ham, Sam. Oh.
Guys, Jayson Tatum's coming back. Are we green teaming right now, Skaz? Is this green teaming? Jayson Tatum's coming back. Wee! JT for three! Like, I'm not doing that. I was in the car today from 2 o'clock to 3:45, Skaz. And I was sitting there. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I think this is the lead story of the day, don't you? I'm not, again, what do I know? I've been here for 15 years, doing this for 20 years. Well, what do I know? I really don't know anything. Okay? But I'm in the car and I'm like, when are we going to hear from Jayson? When are we going to hear something about Jayson Tatum today? I heard Joe Mazzulla on the radio today. Did you hear him?
I did hear that. Some good escape room or panic room talk, as some people will call it.
He said we're all questionable today and maybe probable tomorrow.
Day to day.
What did he mean by that?
You never know, Joe, you know?
He did say he's day to day.
Everybody's day to day, right?
Yeah. Maybe that was a hint. Was that foreshadowing? Maybe somebody's questionable today, but probable tomorrow. Anyways, I'm kicking around because I do Nesson, shout out, 4 o'clock. So I'm in the car and I'm like, when am I going to get my Jayson Tatum? I want to hear the Jayson Tatum stuff. I want to hear what the station thinks about Jayson Tatum. So I didn't hear it off the top. So I waited around and I said, okay, slow build. I kept waiting. And then I go, all right, 314. That's when it's going to happen because, everyone's got the 314 series with the 314. 314 is the zip code, and the 314 is when he got hurt. And Jayson Tatum's contract is, $314 million, and Philippians 314, whatever. And just a little bit after is the first time I heard any Jayson Tatum stuff today. Because he's back, right? Is it the biggest secret in the world that Jayson Tatum was coming back?
Not so much of a secret anymore, Joe. I think the cat is out of the bag. Yeah, that was interesting, we are, remind me, Joe, Celtics. You hear those games where?
The BetMGM 98.5 The Sports of Celtics Radio Network.
And that's where we work, right?
We wear the flag. We have the flag.
Jayson Tatum, the face of the Celtics?
I would, whoa. Why? But people might argue with you who the face of the Celtics
I don't think that's really an argument, but...
Yeah, but hey, that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Is he one of the faces of the entire league?
Yes.
Big story.
On the Olympic team, remember?
Well, he didn't really play, but he was there.
He was there.
He was there. Him and Swayman, same amount of playing time, pretty much. Swayman might have probably did even a little more.
Because I want to green team a little bit about this. Not because of the wee for three, none of that. To your point, one of the best players in the league is coming back tomorrow.
10 months after tearing his Achilles.
And what happened? Oh, Stephon Diggs, look at him coming back.
Oh, it was good DJ Moore talk. I thought.
Moore.
Yeah, no, that's a big story.
Yeah. Played with Joe Brady. Did you know that?
Yes, yeah.
Joe Brady, DJ Moore, big name.
You want to do an hour on DJ Moore, and then we could talk Tatum?
I think we should talk Tatum. What are we expecting now? Okay, that was me trolling everybody. Okay,
is AJ Brown a good trade option for the Patriots, Joe?
Well, of course he's a great trade option.
Oh, of course.
But Jayson Tatum's back. I do. You know what? If people think the documentary is stupid, it's fine. I'm actually okay with it. Like, you're okay to have the opinion. You're okay to have your opinion.
That's fine. I would tell you it's 4 minutes long.
It's only 4 minutes.
I would tell you that.
Each one. Only 4 minutes. But, like...
I would also say that if you're looking for Celtics talk and Celtics coverage, I don't know if going to the people that don't want to talk about it is where you should be going.
Did you guys do a Green Teamers podcast?
Joe, we did one.
You did? Okay. Where can people find that?
And then it ended... And I looked at my phone, and as I was texting Jake Seymour about wrapping up, and I'm going to post the podcast, which should be up shortly. Shams tweeted out the Tatum thing, so we went back live and did another 40 minutes on that. Yes. But no, yeah, Joe, that is interesting. You mentioned that, some people almost like they were avoiding it or ignoring it entirely, but have a lot of thoughts on it.
Well, why is that? Why is that, guys? I mean, again, is Jayson Tatum like this exciting person? I think on the basketball court he is. As a human, he's boring. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to go to my bags of chips, and I got to find out
Drake
what
May an exciting person? Like
he's not. No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't even actually know what endorsement he does. Oh, well, no, actually, what he did Raising Cane's
No
once.
idea.
I actually don't even know what he does. No, he's not exciting either. He's exciting on the field. Jayson Tatum at least watched him win a championship.
I did see that, yes.
I feel like we've watched him stay in shape, play almost every night.
Who cares?
Grow, develop, mature.
I heard the word embarrassing thrown around a lot
Really?
today.
Why,
yes.
What's so embarrassing?
That's what I was trying to figure out. The 4-minute YouTube video is apparently embarrassing, which I just can't possibly feel that strongly about it. They're 4 minutes.
I really didn't even see the fourth one, to be honest with you. It's not because I'm going to go out on a limb and say they didn't either. It's not because I didn't care. It's okay if you don't watch something because you don't care. Mine is I wanted to build myself up.
Yes, yeah. Don't pretend to care would be what I would say.
Yes. I wanted to build myself up for it.
I would say if you ignored the story for 2 hours, you didn't care that much about it, so then all the flailing you do about it seems insincere, I'll say that. Disingenuous, maybe?
I get it. I understand if he gets an owie and he, it might be funny to some people, the way that he reacts. Again, this is one of the most humble superstars in sports. So is that what it is? I'm now starting to wonder. Is that what it is? Is that he's not flashy? He's not polarizing? He doesn't speak enough?
Well, no, they would certainly have an issue with that as well, I would have to imagine.
Because he doesn't do that stuff?
I don't know, Joe. I can't really speak to that. But I'm sure they'd find something. I think me personally,
go ahead, Scott. You go off.
I think it's a good thing Jayson Tatum is back. I think it's a good thing that he's playing for the Boston Celtics. I think it's a good thing that his team has been good without him. I think it's a good thing that Jaylen Brown has shown he can win without Jayson Tatum. I have no real worries that Jayson Tatum doesn't know how to play winning basketball. That's a hot take I've seen thrown around lately.
He doesn't know how to play winning basketball?
He's going to have a real tough time
figuring it out.
Wait, a guy
who won a championship and has been to multiple NBA finals, has played in multiple conference championships.
They're worried, Joe. The people are worried that it's going to be tough for him to fit back in. Look, and I say all this saying that the expectations change with Jayson Tatum. Like, I can't say all this and then say that, if he comes back and, they lose in the first or second round, no. Like, Jayson Tatum is that good. The expectations should change. The Boston Celtics should be in the Eastern Conference Finals. They should compete to win the Eastern Conference Finals if Jayson Tatum is even 80%. So it's not all green teaming. I think there's a realistic expectation that comes with Jayson Tatum returning. Like, it changes things for this basketball team. And that, Joe, I would like to talk about the basketball. Mm-hmm. I know that's rare, but I think we should try that, talking about how good they actually have been in their realistic expectations with Jayson Tatum.
So I do think that some of the people who thought it was stupid actually just want him to shut up and play basketball.
The shut up and dribble crowd.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that.
They're weird how they have.
Yes.
They like to have their cake and eat it too, Joe.
I have heard that. Look, can I do a comp? Because people haven't liked my comparisons.
Comps. Here, give us another one, Joe. Randy Moss, Wes Welker. What do we got?
My Wes, just so you know, just to get it, because people hated it. My Wes Welker versus Alec Pierce thing was about leaving the Dolphins while he's progressing, coming to New England and continuing that ascension. That was my comp, but no one clicked to listen to what I said. They just read the headline.
Good headline, though, Joe.
But again, I got him. I got you. I feel like that's what all night long when everyone's like, you're an idiot, you don't know anything, stick to the beefs and cards and all that stuff. Like, I was like, I got you all because you never listened. So it was a troll job. But can I take it back to 2008?
Oh, the Wayback Machine.
2008. Tom Brady got hurt. If you remember, he got hurt. Do you know that he was back at practice trying to play? Do you know that, like, we all thought he blew his knee out. Like, we all thought it because he left the game, he didn't come back. It's never happened before. He was out on the practice field trying to work out, Skez. He was still out there. He wore a knee brace. He was still taking reps. And like literally after a couple of days, they're like, all right, we can't do this anymore. So Tom Brady, again, tough guy, right? Tough guy. I would say Tom Brady was tough.
I would say tough.
I would say Tom Brady was a winner at that time. He won 3 championships and came off an undefeated season.
Good.
It was very, very good.
Strong.
Very, very strong. They ended up shutting him down, which I think there were people that were like, man, he's nuts that he's out there. Wow, look at that dedication. And I do. I think that he is. I think all that was real. Jayson Tatum got hurt diving for a ball when they were trailing in a playoff game when his team was down. The reason why this is important is because he had a goal. His goal was to be able to play meaningful basketball this season. When he got hurt, the second he got hurt, he did think his career was over. He did think all the hard work was out of the way. He thought he lost it all. I don't know, how would you feel? But his number one goal was to play meaningful basketball this season. There's 20 games to go. This is why Tatum had surgery the morning after he tore his Achilles at Madison Square Garden. Like, he learned this from studying Kobe Bryant. Are we going to get on him for that now, too? Because Kobe mentioned that to him? Said it would cost him another month if he didn't do it right away? He learned that from him. But, this is what people are going to do. Oh, of course he's going to lean on Kobe. Of course he's going to. Kobe, pretty tough competitor, right? Rest in peace. Love you. Mean it.
I think he came back 8 months after he tore his Achilles.
But he said if he did it sooner, he would have saved a month. And that's the mindset of Tatum. It was his goal. For many months, he didn't know if he'd be ready this season. He didn't know. He had to check boxes. But the mental one was the biggest one. So for everyone getting on him about doing something that is uncharacteristic in a documentary and everything, that was part of his mental check. Everything that he said, the chemistry stuff, I never believed. Never. Because I always thought the setback might have been in mental. It might have been mental. But he attacked the rehab. Right? He gave himself a chance to come back and contribute to a championship run, and that's what he's doing. How is that bad? How is there negative to that? That's why I'm pissed. Like, I'm pissed about this. A guy who's one of the great, he makes $314 million. You know what he could have said? Nah, guys, I'll see you next year. I'll see you next year. Instead, it's embarrassing. It's stupid. When someone's goal is to come back and play meaningful basketball and come back sooner than not, how is that bad? How is that embarrassing? How is it stupid? Like, I don't get it. And like, why does this guy face the criticism like that?
He's a star.
Why does he?
He's a star. Yeah, I don't really get the outrage. I've tried to wrap my head around. I've tried to understand. I think there are 4 or 5 4-minute YouTube videos. I can't do it, Joe. I can't get worked up about that.
We'll get to the basketball. I just am trying to say that when he got hurt, the second he got hurt, he did wonder about his career.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He wondered if it was over.
If you took a hard shot to the voice box, Joe, I think you'd have some concerns.
Imagine if I couldn't talk anymore.
I think that would be tough for your career.
What would I do? Would I do silent TikTok eating videos?
Oh, that would be now. Now we got some content.
I'd just point, or I'd give, or I'd make. Can I still moan? Can I still make noises?
Yeah, I just did Tatum do anything during his recovery that was even like was he ever spotted out like dancing with his boot or
No.
doing anything even remotely
Was he on
questionable?
a boat with a pink bag of drugs?
Yeah, anything. I'm just saying, like, we have guys, that are out for a certain period of time. There's usually something surfaces. He did everything right. Has traveled with the team on all their road trips. I heard Derek White say that he even went to the cities guys don't want to go to, so that's how you know that he was invested when he could have just sat in Boston for some of the team's road trips early in the season. Like, he's been around the team all year. I I just can't pretend that I believe that Jayson Tatum making 4-minute YouTube videos is a distraction to the professional athletes of the Boston Celtics. I think that's an insult to Jaylen Brown and Joe Mazzulla when you concoct these things that they're blinded by the 4-minute YouTube videos Jayson Tatum's putting out. I just that's not the reality I live in. I honestly am jealous of the ones that live in that reality because there's unbelievable content there. I can't get myself to get there.
Well, he's soft.
Yeah, he's soft, Joe. Yeah, he's from St. Louis.
I think I heard someone call him a bitch.
Oh, there you go. That word thrown around a lot this week. I don't know what's going on with that.
I think it's hard when someone's goal was to play meaningful basketball. And by the way, like, there's 20 games to go now. Like, all right, we can put it all behind us now. All the other stuff. Oh, go ahead. If you got it tonight, let's get it all out.
Real quick. And I'm not one of these Tatum versus Brown guys. I actually have the belief that having both of them on your basketball team is a good thing.
It's good.
Yeah, I know that's a crazy train of thought, but Jaylen Brown does a lot of these Twitch streams this season, right? Heard anybody talk about anything he says on those or break those down at all?
No, they don't break them down, but
No.
I mean, I do think some of the things he says are storylines.
Sometimes.
But I don't hear them broken down.
No, it's just odd. I just think those aren't a distraction when he does those, post game at 1 a.m. No one ever brings that up.
Well, I hope it is.
And I'm not saying it's a bad. I think Jaylen Brown, do whatever the hell you want. You've been great this year. I don't care. I'm pointing out that I think it's funny what we pick and choose. The guy doing his recovery at an elite level, doing everything every step of the way to make sure he can help his basketball team win. Now we have an issue with that because there was a camera there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add to some of the things Jaylen Brown has said.
Please.
I don't want to hear him say he's the best two-way player in basketball anymore. But I don't bring it up. I think if Jaylen Brown wants to continue to tell people that he's the best two-way player in basketball, it's not dissected here, Skess. Like, it's not talked about. It's not made fun of. It's not, okay, Jaylen. Okay, Jaylen. Like, it's just not patted like, good boy.
It's weird how it's kind of flipped. Now it's Tatum is getting all the quote unquote criticism and the ire of the national media, while Jaylen Brown is. It's almost like they've done some role reversal here, where Jaylen Brown used to be the one that would constantly get the criticism and the question marks around the trade deadline and stuff like that. Now it's, well, does Jayson Tatum know how to win? Does he know how to play basketball?
Is Jayson Tatum are they going to go back to the Tatum way? Is he going to be able to figure it out?
Call me crazy, Joe. I would prefer Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown both be on the basketball team I root for.
This isn't green teaming anybody. It's trying to understand what you don't like about Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown together, a guy who worked hard to be a part of this.
The fatigue of the 4-minute YouTube videos is really upsets some people.
Jayson Tatum.
I thought the older generation, frowned on short form, content, the 30-second videos and stuff like that. They wanted, the longer form content. Now 4 minutes isn't, that's I don't know. Is that too long? Is that not long enough? I'm confused.
Yeah. Derek White, even on his White Noise podcast, said he doesn't understand how JB and Tatum do a great job of turning out the media. He said most of those young duos are just both getting numbers, but they're not winning. JB and JT never had that. They've won conference finals, been to conference finals, and won a championship together. Somehow they have a chance. You know what? I will say this. Tomorrow's huge. Like, I hope our ratings are huge. I hope everyone listens to our Sean Grandy and Max on the call. Like, we're gonna be here all night.
I'll be wearing my Tatums tomorrow.
Okay,
I'm breaking them out.
Like, this should be a big deal. I think we should make this a big deal. There are superstars who walk away from this. And I only bring up Brady because he tried. And they sent him home and said, dude, you're done. Tatum could have done that too. When they traded everybody and got under the luxury tax and did everything that the team's goal was, ownership's goal was to get under the tax this year. I don't think ownership thought they'd be good. And by the way, how many times did Brad say their biggest issue this year was their best player in a walking boot?
Yeah, and I think that also speaks to Tatum's recovery and taking this whole thing seriously. You mentioned the perception of the team in the offseason. And obviously we're far removed from that now as they sit second in the East, and we've watched them, win, 16 of their last 20, whatever it is. They've been one of the better teams in basketball all season, but Jayson Tatum didn't know that. Like, he could have taken the Tyrese Halliburton route and said, I'm going to sit out a year. I'm going to make sure I'm, there's no question marks. I take the entire year off. There's not even a thought or a mention that I'm going to come back. But Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are linked. Their careers are linked. Their professional careers as Boston Celtics are going to be linked. And I think not that Tatum owes it to Brown to get back this season as quickly as possible, but I think it speaks to who Tatum is as a competitor, as a player, as a leader in that locker room, that this was not going to be a lost season for the Boston Celtics, and we've given Joe Mazzulla and Jaylen Brown, Derek White, all those guys rightfully a ton of credit for being all in this year, and I think Jayson Tatum is showing that he was a part of that as well.
Well, it's guys, you and I, we've been here for 3 years. Jeremy's here tonight. At night, we've been doing this for 3 years. We've been doing this for 3 years. I think you and I are used to maybe other people, whether it's radio, media. Yesterday there was an article at Mass Live that was like, enough, JT. Like, enough, dude. Get on the court. I'm almost wondering if it's when he's back and we see it and they're good, people come around on it. Maybe it was for content, right? Maybe he is an easy target to get on. But make no mistake about it. Adding Jayson Tatum to this mix with whatever Jaylen Brown has done this year and what Joe Mazzulla and Brad Stevens have put together, there's no other way to look at it as a positive this year. Ownership got under the luxury tax, and you're now the favorites in the Eastern Conference. I don't know how that's stupid. I don't know how that's a bad thing. I don't even know how you could even look at me in the eye and call us green teamers.
Well, Joe, let's not go too far.
I don't know. No, I'm being serious. I don't know how you could look us in the eye after everything the Celtics and Jayson Tatum have done this year and the situation they put themselves in and tell me it's bad. For real. I honestly think it's pathetic if you do think that. I actually think it's quite embarrassing if you think that. But we're here to talk about it at 617-779-0985. I got to take a quick call. Let's talk to Anthony. He's in Fitchburg. Anthony.
Hey, what's going on, Big Joe? Big fan of yours. I try to listen to you whenever I'm on the road after 6 o'clock, so props to what you do. Sneaky big deal. What do you think? Flag and Tatum both out? How far do you let Tatum go if that turns out into a shootout?
Well, it's funny. Two Duke guys going at it, right? Number one pick in the draft versus a guy who was projected to be traded for the number one pick in the draft. Like, this is a local guy, good guy, right? Like, this is a great. It's a hell of a time tomorrow at the Garden. I hope people get the green goo going and the cheer. Get your pom poms and eat your green popcorn. Like, let's get it going, baby.
Kind of a big deal. One guy's been out for 3 weeks. The other one's been out for 10 months. So let's go.
Let's do it, baby. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
Thanks for the kind words. Well, listen, if you couldn't get it anywhere else today, you're going to get it right here tonight. The Green Teamer himself, Skaz, is here. The Green Teamers podcast is coming out. We're awaiting Jayson Tatum's episode 5. If we get that tonight, let's play it. Woo! I'm even going to say it. I think the Celtics are going to win the East. They're going to win the conference. It's plus 235 if you want to wager on that. We'll hit the headline here. I'm Joe Murray. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about something else. But if you want to talk Celtics basketball, this is the spot right here on the flagship of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Bruins in action tonight. They take on Nashville. They've lost 3 in a row. Bees been really good at home. Now they go on the road tonight. All the coverage begins 7:30. Puck drops just after 8 o'clock right here on the Sports Hub. An NFL trade today. Buffalo has acquired DJ Moore. They sent off a second-round pick. They will get a fifth-round pick in return to Chicago.
the night
I actually spoke with women today.
on the Sports Hub.
Bad night at the office. The Celtics just get cuffed around by the hottest team in the NBA. Charlotte wins their 6th consecutive game by 15 plus, and they hand the Celtics their 2nd worst loss of the year and their worst since early November. The final score, Charlotte 118, Boston 89.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Good Skaz here as well. We got about another 40 minutes or so before we hand things over to Ryan Johnson and Bob Beers on the call tonight for Bees and Nashville. The trade deadline for the NHL is tomorrow. So I got a couple of names I wanted to do before we get out of here tonight. But the biggest story should be today, Jayson Tatum's probable return tomorrow, a questionable return. Earlier today, on with Zoe and Beetle, Joe Mazzulla, when asked about Tatum's return, I might not even be alive by that day. I go to bed questionable, I wake up probable, and I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm a guy who likes to follow breadcrumbs, just follow the breadcrumbs, and that's what I'm doing. Plus, it got moved on the injury report, so it sounds like it's going to happen. It feels like it's going to happen. Dallas, the number 1 pick, Cooper Flagg coming back, local kid, Maine. We should shout out our old intern, Ryan Bell, who had a sit-down interview with Cooper Flagg. If I can find that on Twitter, I'll share it, but it's on my LinkedIn if you want to find that. I did share it from there as well. But just last night, I need to get this one out of the way, because last night I was not happy. The loss to Charlotte. In fairness, Charlotte has been good. In fairness, they're finding their own young special player in Con Knipple. Like, they have really good players on the team. Brandon Miller's very good. LaMelo Ball, very good. So, like, Charles Lee, former assistant. In one day, Skaz, we're going to go over the Brad. Oh, you really want a green team? We're going to go over the Brad Stevens coaching tree because it's very good. From Will Hardy to Micah Shrewsbury to Kara Lawson, right? Is that who's Duke, right? One of the best coaches there. There's Charles Lee. There's more. There's more out there. Damon Stoudemire's another one. Like, the tree is good for Brad Stevens if you really want some more green goo. But that's what Charlotte was last night. They're a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. They're a team that's just playing good basketball right now, and the Celtics ran into it last night. And it's no excuse to lose to a team like that, but they're a team that's playing good basketball. That's what they are. They just are that. Charlotte, like, they deserve the credit. But the Celtics should beat Charlotte. And I do think that they'd be a tough matchup in the first round, but they're that type of gritty team. It's what they are, led by Charles Lee. So again, another night, we'll give you the green goo about the Brad Stevens coaching tree. I just wanted to just state some facts before we got into it. But what bothered me post-game was I actually thought, this is why I was listening to the radio today, Skaz, because I thought we'd get the Jayson Tatum stuff as a distraction. And it was my worst nightmare. And that's why I was doing it. Ooh, Jayson Tatum's a distraction. I was doing that post-game last night. I was doing it. I'm glad I didn't hear it today. But I will admit, was last night about Charlotte being good? Or could Jayson Tatum have been a distraction? That was the first game all year where the Celtics actually tanked the game. Because in the past, they do it, and they do it after long road trips. They'd come back home, and they absolutely stink and back at home. They had a chance in a back-to-back to do it the other night against Milwaukee, and they didn't. But to do it against Charlotte, it was a little surprising to me last night. Maybe the Tatum thing was a distraction. I don't think it should be. But for those that want to say it, I'll give you last night. I'll give you last night. But it shouldn't be going forward anymore. This is why it's a good thing that Jayson Tatum's coming back. It's over now. It's behind him. He's back. Now it is about the basketball. We can finally talk about how Missoula mismatched it and who's now what the rotation is off the bench. Is Baylor Shireman going to start, or is it Sam Hauser? Is Vucevic going to continue to be a guy off the... Is Jayson Tatum going to play the 3 or the 4? Is he going to be a big? Do they expect him to want to be a rebounder? Is he going to pass? I'm excited for all of this. And I do like the change that they made this year. And I hope they continue to play the changed philosophy. And I think Jayson Tatum is such a great player that whatever offense you want to run, he's going to be great. But when someone called me last night, he was like, oh, they're going to continue to play the pick and roll, Joe. They're going to go to the ISO basketball that all superstars do. I still think at the end of the game, you're probably going to get Jayson Tatum with the ball. I still think you're going to get that. But I still also think they're going to play the way that they've won all year. So if they go back to what they've done, it helped them win a championship. It wasn't great a year ago. But for praising them the way they're playing now, and help them win the Eastern Conference and make the playoffs. That's where I'm at today. This hour of the Sports Hub is brought to you by Valvoline. It's an oil change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com. You can save 15% off an extra oil change at Valvoline. It's an oil change, the official oil change of busy people. I can't wait for this tomorrow. You know why? Because everyone's just like, ho-hum. Jayson Tatum's coming back. We knew it. Just wait till a good basketball team again. Maybe that's going to get you guys fired up. Or are we still talking about football and what the Patriots are going to do? Because I feel like that's what everybody's still on. So I'll get into that coming up on the other side so you guys can wet your beak on A.J. Brown talk and whatever else they'll do. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
We got Bruins coming up in just a little bit. Some movement in the NFL today. The Bills making the first move when it comes to wide receivers trade. I'll get into that in a second here, taking your calls as well. 617-779-0985. You can join us on YouTube tonight. We're loaded on YouTube tonight. I see a lot of people in there. Matt is in there every night. Brian Griffin. Steve is in there tonight. Everyone's talking about Tatum. Jimbo Slice. I love that name, by the way. That's a good one. Just a lot of people hanging out with us on YouTube. Just get on in there. Go to youtube.com. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub, and you'll see us right there. Let's talk to Rich. He's in Boston. Is this Suhu?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Sir. I just left the Augustusville Wicker parking lot.
Oh, what did we get today?
Got the tendies and fries. Got on my way to Houston on this weekend for the World Baseball Classic. Can't wait for.
Oh, can you give us a preview? You got any preview on the World Baseball Classic?
So, in the synopsis, USA is supposed to have a monster super team in order to beat Japan, but their toughest matchup is against Mexico on Monday night, where I will be in.
All right,
so that's my goal.
So you can give us some correspondence?
Back to Boston on Tuesday, yes.
Okay, so you'll give us some correspondence from the World Baseball Classic.
And I'll review and try and get some barbecue.
Oh, I know. You can't go to Houston without barbecue, right?
And it's on the same week as the Houston Rodeo. Go figure.
Have you ever been there?
Oh, it's my first time in Texas.
Oh,
the Bruins play in my favorite city of Nashville. Been there twice. Like, out there, go to those honky tonks.
Oh, really? The honky tonks. Okay, Sue. Well, you got a thought on Tatum?
If he plays tomorrow, which I hope be, because that's a nationally televised game against Cooper Flag. Hope he scores about a bunch of points. He might not play as much coming off the nasty injury.
Yep. All right,
expect the Celtics to run away the Mavericks.
Yeah, bounce back from the Charlotte loss. All right, dude. Well, hopefully we'll talk to you when it comes to the World Baseball Classic. Wow, we get sources on the ground now for that. I'm excited for that. Thank you, Suhu. Leaving the Augustus parking lot. I wonder what sauces he got. On Twitter, I was there last night, and yes, it sucked, but maybe I'm alone. But when I went into the game thinking this could be a sneaky loss, the Charlotte presents a problem for the Celtics. It's very, very, very true. All right, I wanted to get into the trade today that happened in the NFL. Bills acquired DJ Moore. Now, of the names available, right? Alec Pierce, they could have just signed. They could have acquired A.J. Brown. Maybe you're in the mix on him. There's Deebo Samuel. There's Romeo Doubs. There's all these names that are available when it came to a wide receiver. But DJ Moore was the guy. Now, DJ Moore is a very good player, especially his game, and advanced maybe Caleb Williams' game as well in Chicago. But when it comes to Chicago, Luther Burden's been a really good, guy that they drafted. Roma Dunze had a nice playoff, although he was hurt last year. They got Loveland, right? So they have a nice little core when it comes to their receivers. And, maybe there was something between Caleb Williams and DJ Moore, kind of chirping at each other late in the year or in that final game in the playoffs there. But they got out of that contract. One thing I will say about Chicago is they always do well, whether it's in the draft or even in free agency. So them moving on to Buffalo, it's a little bit of a risk for the simple fact that, it's 2 years of guaranteed money. You had to give up a second-round pick for him. He is 29 years old, but I think one of the positives in this is that he played with Joe Brady when they were in Carolina together. So you're reuniting DJ Moore, who knows the offense, who's probably the most experienced guy in that offense. And, although he's not like this big X receiver on the outside, he is a deep threat. He can find zones. He can settle down in them and makes really good catches. He's an impact player, no doubt about it. But Buffalo now, they've already now used, allocated assets for that and added the money. That's going to go with Khalil Shakir. They drafted Keon Coleman. I don't know what the future is with him. Do they try to move him at all? But any move when it comes to a wide receiver always would have impacted the Patriots. DJ Moore was a name, I think, for the Pats. They were interested. But again, the age, the money, this now sets a precedent. If it's a second-round pick for a 29-year-old guy with money guaranteed, well, now look at A.J. Brown. I understand when it comes to the cap, you can manipulate it. And maybe if they make a trade, they can rework the deal and all that stuff. It's going to be hard for the Eagles to give up on A.J. Brown without getting a number 1 pick or a first-round pick. And the more I think about it, 31 for the Patriots has never been good. Sony Michel, Cole Strange, N'Keal Harry, all those names out. Now, previous regime, right? I mean, they even got out of one once and moved down to get Jaylen Polk. Out. 31's a bad number. 31's a bad pick. I think if you got to get it done with A.J. Brown, maybe 31 is the pick to do it. Howie Roseman's not going to give it up for nothing. And again, if you look at the comparison, it was a second and a fifth going out. I don't know if you can move from 31 and swap it with the Eagles and add some more, maybe a third-round pick because you have 3 of them. Could you add a Pop Douglas? Could you add something else to the deal? All I know is if you want A.J. Brown, you're giving up more than a second and a fifth. Now, I do think that the deal's comparable. The other thing about it is there's a lot more money there, dead money. And for Philadelphia to move on from A.J. Brown, you got to sweeten the deal. I think it looks like a great fit. A.J. Brown, Mike Vrabel here in this offense. I'm still worried that the Patriots, who let Stephon Diggs go yesterday, might not allocate that money when it comes to the position by trade. When you can just simply sign a guy like Alec Pierce. The reason why I like Alec Pierce is his size, and I think he's ascending. When we talked to Doug Codd yesterday, he mentioned Milton Williams was a guy that was ascending. It's the same exact thing when it comes to Alec Pierce. Now, maybe there's other options. Maybe there's guys that are, part of the coaching staff that they played with elsewhere, kind of like they did last year, that can fit it. But the A.J. Brown thing seems real. It's just, I think the Patriots are going to have to move on from 31 in order to get the deal done. I do want to bring up another thing that the Patriots did today. They brought in Jedrick Wills. He's a former top 10 pick. He's a big tackle. He played for Cleveland. And, don't forget that Mike Vrabel was with Cleveland when he left Tennessee for the year. He was a special assistant. He worked with tight ends, linemen, etc. He saw this guy. They wanted to bring him in last year. They didn't. He came in for a visit. I feel like it's worth taking a flyer on a guy like that. Get him into the program early. See how he shows up. His work ethic, his strength. Get him on the program. But if you can get a talent, like a top 10 talent at a decent money, you're going to lose Vidarian Lowe. You don't know what the future is on, you drafted Marcus Bryant, but it at least gives you an option with Will Campbell or the draft. Do you need to draft a tackle high? I like the small move. I think this is somewhat of a lottery ticket where if it doesn't work, you throw it away. But I think if you can get him into the system early on, that's a former top 10 pick. Some of these guys just need a change of scenery. Maybe you need the coach. Maybe Doug Marone's a guy that can get him right, but it's a guy that came for a visit today, and at least the Patriots are, when it comes to priority, they moved on from Diggs. They brought in a guy that's on the offensive line. That's a priority to me. So I like what they're doing. They also added Charles London as a passing game coordinator, someone else to add to their offense. He was with the Titans in 2023, so now he moves back to Mike Vrabel's staff. And they added a former linebacker, Jesse Ukeda, who was with the Rams, but I think played for the Cardinals for a bit, special teamer. So they're trying to make some under-the-radar moves to get the guys in the program to see if they can stick around. I like the approach. I'm not sure what they're going to do with wide receiver. Alec Pierce looks great. They got to pay him the money. Will they do so? I always joke about it, but when the Patriots actually spend money, they make the playoffs. And then the year they do, next year they don't. I wonder if things really have changed with Mike Vrabel at the helm, because I'm still scared from the Bill Belichick era. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. The NHL trade deadline is tomorrow. It's tomorrow. What are the Bees going to do? And they got another game tonight as they're fighting for the playoff spot. I believe they're up 3 points right now for a spot. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray. Around here, we call them the Joe Murray pre-party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You know, every Olympian we've talked to shares like a real passion for representing the country. And I felt obligated to give a speech about how I grew up in soccer, which is an international sport. And all we wanted to do was prove that the people from our country are better than everybody else. We wanted to prove that our region was better than the other regions. And then whenever it gets to country, we're better than the other countries. The sport of hockey has obviously never been America's. You know, it's always like fighting. Is that a mentality whenever you guys head into these Olympics, especially this year? Like, hey, we have the right crew now to kind of take this and our country will fall in love with this. Was that a mentality heading into the Olympics, or did you guys just kind of ride the wave as it went along?
Man, I think looking back now that it's all been said and done, we talked a lot, this group, about how this was our time. We were not shy about broadcasting it when people asked that we were going over there to win a gold medal. We spoke about it a ton, as a group, dating back to that Four Nations, that this was kind of our golden age of hockey. This was the best team that we've had yet. And we all got a chance to do something really special. And then just about not letting it slip. And then now looking at it, like, that tournament flew by. It was the 2 fastest weeks you could ever imagine. And we just didn't want to blink or miss any of it and let this opportunity slip away. And, man, it's just amazing that we were able to get it done.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. That was Charlie McAvoy. He had a chance to do a sit-down with the Pat McAfee show. I suggest going back and watching it. He talked about the Olympics, talked about being, not having a captain on the Bruins, which I thought was very good. So, good interview. If you want to go check it out, it's on the Pat McAfee show from yesterday. But McAvoy doing a little tour now. Had a very nice Olympic run, and has been very good with the Bruins. He's had a nice little point streak. It was snapped the other night, but overall though. Has been very solid, adding ice time, playing great defense. Is a big part of what the Bees are doing, and his game's back. And is one of those leaders. I call him a pillar. Him, Pasternak, I guess Swayman, if you want to call it that. Those guys are the pillars going forward here, and the Bees are in it. I think they've played like a playoff team all year. Like, sometimes can you follow the goaltender, meaning Jeremy Swayman, what he did the other night. It was a great performance by him. Now, how does he follow it up? After the game, Marco Sturm says, he's back now. Well, I hope he's back. I'd like to see how he plays tonight. Is it even him tonight? I don't know if that's actually been announced yet. We'll find out shortly when we hand things over to Ryan Johnson and Bob Beers. But the Bees have had a good season, and I think that even if they make minor tweaks to their roster, whether they sell or buy, they're going to be in it till the end. They have good players, good goaltending, good coaching. They've been a good team overall. If you ask me what do I think the team should do, I like the idea of buying and selling. I think they can do both, and I know that Don Sweeney can do it, and has a long history of making good trades at the deadline. I do think this is a new group, and maybe the way that they operated in years past was because of, the guys they had. And, right now when you look at what they have, the guys at Boston College and that are coming up, who knows, maybe you'll see Hagens at the end of this year. Maybe he's one of the impact, centers that they're looking at. But Don Sweeney did speak this week regarding the team and maybe some of the moves that they could make. I'm at least on record saying that I would move on from Arvidsson. He's been great. His age, contract. I don't know if you could get a second round pick for him, but you got to dangle it out there. And if you do, it's what's best for the future of the team. You have to think about the future. I know the present right now is they're battling for a playoff spot, and that's great. He's someone I definitely would move. If somebody wanted Peak, would you dangle him out there and see if you can get something? I'm about moving on from a few guys. I also wouldn't mind them looking at some other. They're linked to plenty of guys. Robert Thomas is one of them from the Blues. I am worried about if you did acquire a player like a Connor Garland, right? That guy's going to make $6 million to for the next 4 or 5 years. What do you have to give up for a guy like that? So I do think defense is somewhere that they can look at. If you were looking at maybe acquiring a player, the guy that I like is Owen Tippett. I watched him last week. He does make just over $6 million a year. It's about a 20-goal scorer every year, about 50-point guy. But he can play a top 6 wing. He could play a good role here. He probably is your replacement if Arvidsson, if they did move on from him. He's got a lot of speed, which is something that they really need. I mean, outside of Hustadinov and Pasternak, they could use that. He's had 20 assists, three seasons in a row? He signed for a long time, but team friendly, $6 million a year. The Flyers are, I don't want to say they're out of it because they're still in the race, but it is an uphill climb for them. I mean, would they even trade somebody like that to one of their rivals? I'd look in on it. I don't know the cost, but that's at least a guy that I'm looking at. There was somebody else that I kind of noted here, but they've had success. I'm only bringing up Morgan Geekie for that matter, of guys that they can get that might have not been producing at other places, and you bring them to Boston and they can make an impact. A guy that I looked into a little bit is Shane Wright. Plays center, makes under $1 million so far in 60 games this year, 11 goals, 12 assists. What was he, a top 5 pick a couple of years ago, but he really just hasn't had that opportunity. So I just look at that contract and where he's at, and can you take a stab at a guy like that and put him in a different situation? Last year, he had 19 goals and 25 assists. He is taking a step back. But could the Bruins maybe find a guy like that to maybe add to their, bottom 4 or a center to use? Another name I think that they could dangle out there is Matt Patra. I like Patra personally. I don't know if he fits the Marco Sturm system. I thought that was the issue with Johnny Beecher and some of these other guys that they moved on from. So I know that Don Sweeney recently said that he did want to give the team a bump, and I'll get you the quote real quick. What is that bump? I just think they can't do nothing. So if they sell a few pieces, they buy a little bit here and there. I hope they don't give up any of their draft capital or any of the BC players. I think they're all off limits. But it is true. This team, they've grinded. And Sturm is